Alright, so just showing the removal of a rear shock absorber on this Volvo 2001-2009. It's an S60, should be pretty similar on S80. Keep in mind there are two differences. This is the simple shock, and the spring it's seated on the frame, on a mount on the car, so you can easily remove these shocks. There are other models where the shock is keeping the spring. I'm not sure about those, how those goes. And there's also the all-wheel driving model, which is also different, I believe. This is forward front-wheel drive car with this kind of shock. So keep in mind there are different type of assemblies. This is one of them. So what you need to do very first, now I'm at the scrapyard and the car is really raised quite above the ground. It's really a long distance. At home, what you want to do is just place your jack underneath. You may find some point, usually I would use these things, and place a piece of wood like 2 inches above, on top of the jack, because the whole idea is you want to raise the car really far from the ground, because you will need to drop the shock absorber from there, and if you don't raise enough, the shock will get stuck in here. You won't be able to bend and remove it from there, right? So really need to lift the car a lot, as much as you can. And there's another thing I usually do is once I want to remove the shock, I'll just place a bottle jack underneath here, just underneath somewhere on the suspension here. So I'll just jack a little bit the hob. So this actually is jacking a little bit more the suspension and makes even more space to remove the shock absorber from there, right? So you really need to jack this thing as much as you can from the ground. Okay, so now I'm just going to get the 70mm, and you grab the bolt here. It's just one side bolt. I'm gonna remove this guy. Just a side note, you may always want to use a long like a 2 feet cheater bar to make much more torque on the bolt, right? Because even though this is a 1/2 inch ratchet, I really use this guy for removing and tightening back the bolts. Okay, so now that the bolts out, I usually reuse them. Just don't torque them like crazy back on. You just want to tap a little bit on the use a screwdriver, sometimes a little bit stuck in there. Okay, so keep going like this a couple of times just to free it from its bracket. All right, and then you need to move inside the trunk. Okay, let's see this side. So there's one clip in here. It goes like this. Just depress it behind or just pull it. There's gonna be this kind of, you just lift it there, and then there, right behind, just at the end of the trunk, there's another clip just like the first one. It's right there. Just press on it. So there's 2 clips on there, one at the end. You don't see it, but just pull on a little bit on the trim and just pull it. This is inside the car. Someone has removed these bolts, but you don't need to remove them. There's 3 bolts around. You just need to undo this top nut. These bolts are just for the strut mount, which I believe really rarely that happens to fail. So probably yours is still good. So just need to undo this nut. You need to keep it from turning with a I think this is a T40. It may sometimes this is not the all they don't all have the same size. Again, the nut, it's an 18mm, but it's not always the same size. They may use a wrench on it, but I prefer this adjustable key because it's easier to, you can put more force on it. So that's it. Just keep it one hand here, keep it from turning, and then undo this guy. And when you have removed the nut, just tap on top of the shock absorber, it's gonna fall down. And just another tip: you're placing when you're installing the new shock absorber. The tricky part is that you have to insert it from underneath the new one, and then you have to find that small tiny hole on the top to get it through the hole. And there's a trick. You see there's a cutting here, so you just get a flashlight and just point it upwards, and you will see the tiny hole on the top, and then you can easily insert the shock absorber back in place. That's pretty much it. If you happen to find this and it's not too tight, you may try to do a trick like that. Just a wrench there, you just get up a adjustable key, because you need to clear it a bit, and you just grab a pliers, or maybe even better a locking pliers, and you just grab the handle and twist with the pliers and keep the wrench from moving. But again, if it's really stuck in there, you won't be able to undo it.